Hello and welcome to the channel. We'll talk about all things card games and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today I want to share with you my Kiara Polka deck profile. Now, if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoy what we do here, please let me know by hitting that like button. As well as that, you can join to become a member of the channel. Click that join button down below and check out my other socials on Twitch, on X and on Discord. Those links are in the description. But let's jump straight in. So today I want to showcase a Polka Kiara deck list which actually won the fan server's first tournament. And it's a deck that at first I didn't think it would be that good. However, after playtesting it and getting my head around the deck, it's an extremely good aggro deck which honestly competes with the likes of Kanata, and it is a deck that should seriously be taken forward for competitive tournaments down the line. Now, for this deck list, I do want to give a shout out to Kometa, who won the Hololive OCG fan server tournament, which if you want to take part in any tournaments going forward, make sure you go down to the description and check out the Hololive OCG fan server Discord, where you can join for free and take part in tournaments for free. But without further ado, let's jump into this deck profile. Of course, we start with the Oshi Takanashi Kiara with the Oshi skill Phoenix Tail, which allows you once per turn to get a holo member from your archive to your hand, and that is any holo member, including Buzz holo members, which will become very important as you'll see later on. And also the SP Oshi skill Rise from the Ashes, which once per game during your opponent's turn when your red holo mem is downed, you can use this ability to take one less life than you would normally, and then any holo members that were sent to the archive from that holo member being downed, including holo members that were bloomed on that holo member that was downed, are all returned back to your hand. Now, given that this is a mono red deck, this card is fantastic in terms of one, reducing the life that you take, i.e. actually making this a pseudo 6 life Oshi member, but also enabling you to recycle those important members that are in your archive back to your hand to play them again for the next turn and basically keep up your aggro. In terms of the cheer deck, it's quite simple: 20 cheers and all red, and that is your cheer deck and your Oshi. Starting off with your holomems, we run 7 unlimited debut polkas with just a 20 attack and 70 health. It's pretty small, but the great thing about this is that it has 0 baton pass cost, so you can retreat this from your center for free and not having to waste any cheers in the process. Moving on to the first bloom, we run 4 copies of First Bloom Polka with the bloom effect search your deck for any fan, and then also the 2 cheer 70 attack, which can only be used if this card has a Zane attached to it, which isn't difficult. And then of course we run 4 copies of the First Buzz Polka with the bloom effect to get a Zane from your archive back to your hand, and also the Polka Circus 2 cheer attack with 50 plus, dealing 20 additional damage for every fan attached to any of your holo mems. So you're basically looking at realistically turn 2 to turn 3 being able to attack with 110 to 150 damage quite easily. So if you can get this out and you can get your fans out, you can basically push your opponent's first bloom holomems down them quite easily, making it so that your opponent can't react and get their their seconds or potentially even their buzzes out in time, and you can just push the life game really quick. You can basically get yourself to a situation where you're 2 or even 3 life ahead of your opponent, and you can do all that by turn 3, turn 4 quite easily. Like I said, this is an aggro deck, and the whole point of this deck is to get this first Buzz Polka out as quickly as possible along with all of your fans. And able to facilitate your fans, you also run the Kiara line, so you run 5 copies of the unlimited Kiara holomem, and you also run 4 copies of the First Bloom Kiara. So the whole point of these is that with the debut Kiara, you can do 20 damage for 1 cheer, but you can also discard a card from your hand to your archive to deal an additional 20 damage, and the cards that you normally want to discard from this art is either the Zane fan or just a dead card in your hand, whether it be you've got too many limiteds in your hand, whether you've got too many spots in your hand, which we'll come to in a moment. And basically, if you can ultimately discard a Zane, you can get the Zane into your archive and then bloom into first buzz Polka to just bring that Zane back in and then attach it to your Polka. So realistically, you're actually getting this for 0 cost, which is kind of neat. The bloom effect of the first bloom allows you to top 3 for a holo member, any holo member. Again, it gives you access to try and find your buzzes, and then you put the rest into your archive. Now, again, that can charge your archives with holo members that you can get back with your Kiara Oshi. It can charge it with the Zanes to get them back with your Buzz Polka. It's just a really good way of also maintaining your hand size as well, because at the end of the day, yes, you're playing this card, but you then get the card back. It's kind of cool, and the synergizes really, really well. Finally, we run 3 copies of the Spot Peck Order, which on collab you can roll a dice, and if that is an even result, you can search your deck for any Buzz Holomem. So again, the whole point of this deck is to see this Buzz Polka as quickly as possible. Realistically, in your starting mulligan, if you've got a couple of debuts and you haven't got a Buzz Polka, I would mulligan. You are really, really greedily looking for a first Buzz Polka. You're looking for a Zane. You're looking for your debuts as well. So realistically, your starting hand, if you do not have a Buzz Polka in your hand, I'd say 4 out of 5 times, you are going to mulligan that hand. But those are your holo members for the deck. Moving on to your supports, you run 4 copies of Ordinary PC to be able to find your debuts as quickly as possible. You also run 4 copies of your Polka fan, Zine, and 4 copies of your Kiara fan, KFP, Kentucky Fried Phoenix. And again, you want to run 4 of these each because you need to see your fans as quickly as possible in order to power up your first Buzz Polka. And the Zanes themselves basically allow you to not have to worry about cheering so much, because you're going to be getting the red cheer for polkas from the Zane, so it allows you to cheer rush as well, which is kind of neat. Moving on to the limited, we run 4 copies of the Nodika to draw 3 cards, does what it says on the tin. We also run 4 copies of the Manichan to shuffle back, draw 5. Again, a fantastic card to fix hand states, especially early game if they are overclogged with limited cards, or not enough debuts in hand, or not the right first cards that you need in your hand. It's a fantastic card to fix. And finally, we run 3 copies of So You're the Enemy. Again, being able to switch out your opponent's holomem in the center is so important, where they might have a holomem that they collabed with last turn that took some damage and it's now resting in the background. It's a second bloom, and you go, okay, fantastic, I'm going to So You're the Enemy it, and I'm going to make sure I knock it out with Polka so that you haven't got the opportunity to swing back with it once it has become unrested. But that is the deck. It is extremely linear, extremely straightforward, with a few little nuances in terms of the sort of gameplay style you take on it. It's an extremely good aggro deck, and in my opinion, it's actually an extremely good beginner deck. It's so easy and so simple what your game plan is and what you're trying to do. It's such an easy deck to pick up, so that if you are looking for a strong competitive deck that is not too difficult to learn, this is a fantastic deck. And again, I want to thank Cometer for their deck list. It is as streamlined as it is. I thought about making some changes, reducing the number of spot pekos and potentially even reducing the number of debut polkas to, run some backup PCs, maybe reducing Nordica down to 3 or Manage Hand down to 3. But honestly, it is so consistent, because again, you're running 3 copies of, you're not running any weird ratios in your deck. You're basically making sure that you see at least one of these cards at some point throughout the game, and that's exactly what you need for this deck in order to perform that early game aggro. But that is it for this profile. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe button, and if you enjoy this video, let me know by hitting that like button, and please feel free to join and become a member of the YouTube channel today. Hit that join button down below. But what do you think to this deck profile? Are there any changes you would make? Would there be any random text that you would like to run? And do you think that this competes with the tier 1 lists? Looking at Kanata, looking at White Blue Promise, looking at, in my opinion, Pekora Iraha, which is like a strong tier 2 deck. Where would you place this? I think it is a strong tier 2. I don't think it's quite as good as Canada. However, it definitely holds its own in a competitive tournament, as we saw by Commenter in the Hololive OCG fan server tournament that we just had. Talking of which, if you want to see that video where I actually talk through the tournament data and things like that, make sure you check out my other videos where you'll see that uploaded, and let me know what you think to that tournament data and those sort of videos. Do you like those sort of videos? And do you like these deck profiles? Also, I look forward to seeing set 2 come out soon, where we'll have a lot more cards to cook with, and it'll be interesting to see as well the decks that I've built for set 1. What does set 2 do in terms of improving those decks? I'm really excited to see what comes out, and of course we are going to be building an Akayu deck when it comes out. Very excited for Akayu to come to Hololive OCG. But like I said, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As well as that, again, as always, please make sure you check out my other socials on Twitch, on X, and on Discord. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.